What's going on, YouTube? This is Lito Diaz with Quick Trips and Tips, and I'm going to give you some quick tips for a quick trip to Lisbon, Portugal. All right, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is transportation, getting from the airport to the city center of Lisbon. I know that's one of the biggest worries that people have is getting, how to get to the city center. So get the metro. The metro is right there at the airport. So right when you leave arrivals, you take a right, and there's some kiosks where you get your ticket, and you're going to take the red line to the green line. And then depending on where you really want to end up, there's various stops in the green line. But like the last three is like right there in the city center of Lisbon. Yes, you could take a taxi, but it's going to cost you anywhere from 10 to 15 euros and 120 per piece of luggage. So definitely take my recommendation. Take the metro. It's easy. It's right there at the airport. It's a straight shot. You'll be in the city center of Lisbon in 30 minutes. All right, so where to stay? I recommend staying in the Old Town. You can stay in Barrio Alto if you are into the party scene, because you'll be right in the middle of it. But Lisbon's actually kind of small, so you could walk everywhere, and taking a tuk-tuk or a taxi anywhere, an Uber, you'll get to any location pretty fast and pretty cheap. The average pricing for a hostel in Lisbon is anywhere from 30 to 80 euros per night. Ours was cheaper than that. I stay in Rua Augusta, and that's an area that has a lot of shops, restaurants, bars, and the Rua Augusta Arch, which is pretty famous landmark that you're going to probably go and take a picture in front of. And it's right next to the water as well. So I recommend Rua Augusta because you're really close to everything. You're close to the water. If you want to go for a run in the morning, we did. It's awesome. But anywhere in Lisbon, you're not going to go wrong. And if you be in the middle of this party scene, Barrio Alto is the place to be. So Lisbon has awesome food, and these are the foods that I tried. So I'm going to recommend, and obviously, if you're from Lisbon and you're Portuguese, go ahead and write down below what your recommendations are. But this is what I tried, and this is what I recommend. Pastel de nata, which is a custard tart, and you'll find them everywhere. They're pretty cheap. I think we got some for like €1 each. It's going to vary depending the area you're at, but they're everywhere. Definitely try it. You'll probably try it various times. They're delicious. Piri piri chicken and bacalhau is basically salted cod. And not only is it popular in Portuguese, actually, I grew up eating it because I'm Puerto Rican. So my parents used to make bacalhau all the time. So it was kind of cool realizing that it's such a popular food to try in Portugal, and it's everywhere. Sausages, they're really known for their sausages like chorizo, but they have a lot of various kinds. And the hostel that I stayed at, they actually had a tapas night where they served us a whole bunch of different sausages made in Portugal, and it was really good. So definitely try some sausages. And seafood in general, great seafood. You're right by the water. You're right, you're by the ocean. So seafood in general is delicious in Lisbon. One of the best places to get that seafood is Cervejeria Ramiro. And it's a very famous spot now because Anthony Bourdain went to go visit it, and it was on his show. So now it's like a huge tourist hotspot, but it's worth the wait. We waited, I think, like 2 hours outside, but it was definitely worth it. It is a little pricey, but it is definitely worth it. Amazing, amazing food at that restaurant. Wines in general, really cheap and great wine in Lisbon, but they're known for their port wine, their gingiha, cherry wine, and it's a sherry wine that's really, really strong. Not everybody likes it, but definitely try it because you might love it. Very strong. That's one of the more really popular drinks there. And vino verde. Vino verde is basically translated green wine, and what it is like the wine that's not really ready to drink. It's like saying like eating a banana before it's ripe. If I was to give an example. So with that said, the average cost of hostels, again, is 30 to 80 euros. Food, if you get a coffee, it's 1 to 2 euros. The jinji ha is anywhere from 150 to 2 euros. Water is €1. Cheap restaurants will be about 5 to 8 euros per person. Medium grade will be 8 to 15, and high 15, 65, and plus. And depending on your budget, you can make it as cheap and as expensive as you want. And I forgot to mention, one of the coolest things about when you're walking around in Lisbon and sightseeing is that their food, like their street food, is healthy. You have fruit carts, so you can get like a cup of fruit, like pineapple with grapes, watermelon, and strawberries. I kind of dig the fact that there's a lot of healthy eats out in the streets, and there's a lot of juice bars. So yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, so things to do. You could get on a hop on, hop off tour bus there for 20 euros, and the ticket will last you 48 hours. If you go online right now, it's going to say 24 hours, but if you talk to the person, if you talk to one of the agents in person, they'll say that it's for 48 hours. So 20 euros for 48 hours, and it's a hop on, hop off tour bus that has 3 lines, and 20 euros includes 2 lines, a red line and a blue line, to see most of the sites. Well, actually, pretty much all the sites on the hop on, hop off tour bus. Now, there's a lot of different ways to tour Lisbon. They have these tuk-tuks that came from Thailand, and these like little 3-wheel motor cars that fit like to 2 to 3 people. So when it comes to what to do, there's a lot to do. And getting on a hop on, hop off tour bus, you're gonna do most of those things. So I'm not gonna list them out. You can go on the hop on, hop off tour bus website, and it'll give you a list of all the little stops that'll do. If you have any recommendations, things to do specifically that are probably not on a hop on, hop off tour bus or on a tuk-tuk tour bus or whatever, anything like that, go ahead and write them down below, and it'll be greatly appreciated. Tuk-tuks can give you a tour, but they're a lot pricier. You could use them as a taxi, but they also provide tours. They wanted to charge us like 60 or 80 euros for like 3 hours. There's also like segways that we saw people like in these go-karts, and there's bike tours that you could rent, these electric bikes. So there's a lot of different ways to tour Lisbon itself, not just bus tours. And like I said, using the tuk-tuk, you could actually use it as a taxi, because Lisbon being so having so many hills, walking up and down those hills will be very tired. There's a lot of things to see and do in Lisbon. I recommend seeing all the sites. My favorites were the elevador Santa Justa, which is this elevator that's been there since 1902. So it's definitely a must see. But you pay $5.60 to go all the way up, and you have a 360 view of the entire city. Lisbon has a bunch of rooftop bars that have beautiful views of the city. So definitely check out a rooftop bar. I'm not going to recommend any specific one because there's so many. Just make sure that you have that on your list to do that. All right, and lastly, last thing I'm going to recommend is that you take a nap. The nightlife in Lisbon is insane. It's amazing, but it's long hours. So us that come from the US, we're not used to that. Our places close anywhere from 2 to 3 a.m. So when you go out in Lisbon, some places don't even open until 1. So I recommend taking a nap during the day, around like 6 to 8, have a late dinner. That way you can last the night. There's awesome bars and restaurants. Try to avoid Lux because they're racist. So yeah, screw you, Lux, for not letting us in and trying to charge us 240 euros per person because we were not from Portugal. And that's pretty messed up. So I usually don't say anything negative about any place, but Lux. So those are my quick tips for a quick trip to Lisbon. I hope you like the video. Hit like, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at Quick Trips and Tips. And if you have any questions, ask me down below and I'll do my best to answer them. Obviously, I leave a lot of stuff out of the video because I want to try to make it as quick as possible. The most important spots like transportation, where to stay, what to do. Again, thanks for watching and have a great day.